are new that are joining back in, we are currently phone banking and asking folks to hop on the call who've already registered for it. If you'd like to phone bank with us, I'm going to put a link in the chat right now. Just make an account there to get started. One moment. Other than that, hang tight. We're really excited to have some very special guests on in the next 15 to 20 minutes. So stick around. We're really excited. Thank you all for being on.
Diego, you hurt my feelings.
Sorry.
You made me go through the whole pitch before you told me you were also on this call.
Do y'all see the message from Matthew? We are live on YouTube right now, people.
Hi, YouTube. Hi, Mom.
I'm famous. Oh my gosh.
Hello, everyone.
Ray, I miss you.
Serena, I'm losing my mind, and you can't say that to me because I'm gonna start crying because I miss you so much.
Diego, you aren't on the spreadsheet. I don't see you.
I'm typing information right now.
We have less than 10 minutes left, so keep phone banking, get in those last few rounds of calls, and voicemails, and making your pitches. If you just joined, we're currently phone banking. We'll drop the
Mhm.
link here, but make sure to mute yourself while you're phone banking.
We're officially at 200 people, y'all. Ooh!
Woo! Wow, Linnea, I just tried to call you to confirm that you're on the call. You didn't even answer me. My feelings are hurt.
Oh no, my phone was on Do Not Disturb. Say that I'm not home.
Well, Linnea, you have my number now. It's the 858 area code one, so do with that what you.
I had the live stream also on YouTube, so I heard that audio twice, and I was like, oh my gosh, why is she repeating herself?
Okay, we're at 237 now. Whoa.
Is this the breakout session?
We're currently in the main room. Everyone's phone banking.
Oh, yeah, someone called me. Yeah. I think Julia from Texas.
I just joined. I don't know what's going on. I was on like 2 hours ago, but
No, I was there for the yoga session, and then I left after that.
yeah.
Hi,
Nice
yeah,
that.
I just joined too.
Hey everyone who just joined.
I'm here
We're
for
doing some phone banking right now. In about 5 minutes, we're gonna have our special guest speakers on. So hang tight for that.
who are our special guest speakers.
You will find out in 5. Just kidding. It's Emma Gonzalez,
Yeah.
David Hogg, Elizabeth Warren, and Representative Lucy McBath.
Awesome.
How's everyone doing?
Doing well.
Hey there, can someone just confirm that they're able to hear me?
We can hear you.
Great. Thank you.
Hello, folks. We're going to go and start a special guest portion in about 20 seconds, so just a heads up. Alrighty, folks. Hello, everybody. We are extremely excited to have everybody on. We have almost 400 people on this call right now, 378 folks to be exact. We're really excited about it. And we have a large group of really great guest speakers to come on and speak. And so I just wanted to introduce myself and the guy who's going to speak with me. My name is Maxwell Frost. I'm the National Organizing Director for March for Our Lives. Gab, if you can hit the next slide. And I'm joined by David Hogg. David, can you hear me?
Okay, there we go. Thank you for giving me permission to speak and unmuting me. I'm so happy to see everyone here today. Jackie, it's great to see you in the quarter mile screen and everyone else that I can't see because there are literally too many people on here. I really wish that we could all be in person today. It would have been really awesome. We had some awesome stuff planned, but as young people and activists, we adapt. And luckily, as a movement that was really started in large part because of our online activism and coordinating students across the country through different social media platforms and the use of new forms of communication, we're able to adapt to that in new ways. So yeah, I am incredibly excited. And yeah, thank you all for being here. It's been 2 years and I can't wait to see what the next 2 years bring.
Yeah, definitely. And David and I have been talking ever since I started this job about the future of this organization. David often brings up he wants March for Our Lives to become the innovators of nonprofits, creating things and doing things that people have never done before. And I think things like this digital hub here today show that we are innovating and thinking of new and unique ways to get people to activate their true activists and call attention to the issues and injustices that happen in this country right now. And I'm super excited to be a part of that fight as well. And I know David is happy that he's part of the people that started it. And as I know, as we look at now, we have 400 people on this call. I can't stop smiling. And so, Dave, do you have anything else you want to add before we kick it off to Eve?
Just that, things a lot of the time, it's not easy, but I'm so glad to know that all of us are in this together and then we all have each other to lean on and really work together to change the world, which arguably we already have and we're not going to stop doing. So thank you guys.
All right, and next we're going to pass it to Eve Levinson, our Policy and Governmental Affairs Manager.
Hi all, great to talk to you again. I know some of you were here earlier when we talked about some of the intersections relating between coronavirus and gun violence prevention. And so now I'm so excited and honored to get to introduce Representative Lucy McBath, who is a champion for really all issues of injustice up on the Hill. I know a lot of time, especially to those of you who aren't in DC, the Hill can seem like such a distant place and sort of like we're not being represented there. But the reality is that with incredible advocates like Lucy McBath, I hope that you all can get the same sort of hope that I get every time I get to talk to her and I bring other activists to talk to her, that we really do have representatives on the Hill that are fighting for us and advocating for this issue. And so Representative McBath, I'm so excited to hear what your message is to these hundreds of March for Our Lives students on the 2nd anniversary of this amazing movement.
Thank you so much, Eve. I just want to thank every one of you so very much. You are amazing advocates for gun violence prevention. You are amazing advocates for social justice in the country. And you are truly here for a time such as this. And I could not be more proud to be working alongside you. I know most specifically now on this 2-year anniversary, I know that it can be very difficult for you now, but I'm so grateful to each and every one of you for standing up. You stood up which caused me to stand up, and in your fighting for gun violence prevention and all the things that you have been so dedicated to these last couple of years, our movement is growing larger and larger every single day. So thank you, all of you, for inviting me to speak tonight. For those of you who may not know me, I am Lucy McBath. I'm now the Congresswoman for Georgia's 6th Congressional District. And I'm so really humbled to work with each of you. And I'm so excited every time you come to my office on the Hill, every time I get a chance to talk with you, and just to see you on the Hill and to see you advocating and putting forth legislation and policy is amazing. And I just can't be more happy to see you every time you're there on the Hill in the halls of Washington. And I just want to congratulate March for Our Lives. It is your 2nd anniversary, and your courage and your leadership has shown just a testament in this country to the power that young people have, and the power that you have to protect our friends and our families and our communities and our loved ones. And you really, really are making a difference, and you're so much making our country a greater place to live. The dedication of you, you are our nation's young people, and really will help us solve the challenges that we have today and tomorrow. And I appreciate all of you staying home at this point. Spoken like a mother, I'm thanking you for staying home and social distancing and helping our country defeat this pandemic that we find ourselves in right now. I'm sure that many of you, if not all of you, have had your daily lives completely turned upside down and affected by COVID-19. As we know, our schools and our places of business have all temporarily closed for now, and many, if not all of our fundamental routines have been significantly changed and altered. And we are living in what we know to be unprecedented times. And I've heard from Americans from, all over the country, and most specifically in my district. And everyone has deep, deep concerns about this pandemic. I hear your concerns. I hear the concerns of people that I'm speaking to every single day, and anxiety about the uncertainty that we face. It's normal and it's natural in an increasingly connected society, as we are right here in this sense of medium today. I know that these changes feel unnatural and perhaps even very uncomfortable for you, but know that you are truly making sacrifices on behalf of our country and to protect the health and the safety of our most vulnerable Americans that live among us. Like Americans, like we've done throughout history. Now, we will get through this. We are Americans, and this is what we do, and we will defeat this disease, but we all have to work together. So as we fight this virus, please continue to listen to the recommendations of the medical community. Continue to practice social distancing. That's extremely critical and important. Staying away from large crowds and groups will help slow the spread of this disease and ease the burden of our healthcare system, and ensure that we have the resources that we need to combat the epidemic. If we can do that, our medical professionals on the front lines will be forever grateful for us, and it will allow them to be able to focus on doing what they do best, is taking care of our citizens that are sick. And I also want to applaud you all. I want to applaud all of our healthcare workers too, and our doctors and our nurses and our first responders that are on the front lines. They're sacrificing for us every single day, and they're sacrificing for all of our friends and our neighbors and neighbors everywhere. And so we're looking up to their bravery and their spirit in this very difficult time. And the unity and perseverance that we have to show during this crisis is the same strength that you all have shown these last couple of years, that we have all been fighting for gun violence prevention together. The work that we have done, be assured, is keeping our families safe in ways that they may not feel or recognize, but we are keeping them safe. And the work that we do has never been easy. This work will never be easy. And for many of us, the fight is nothing that we ever expected that we would be doing ourselves. I know you yourselves would never expect to have suffered through a tragedy and losing loved ones and losing friends. You never expected that, as I never expected that I would lose my son, Jordan. It's not anything that we've chosen for ourselves, in so many words. And so I never imagined that I would be here and that I would have the privilege of representing my district in Washington. I grew up as a daughter of a dentist and a nurse. And as I've gotten older, I've held many roles. I have been a daughter, I am a wife, a working mother, but I never imagined that I would be a congresswoman and be working in Washington. And having come to Washington because of this specific issue, which is gun violence prevention. After graduating from college, I worked for Delta Airlines for 30 years, and I thought by now I would be ready to retire. I will be 60 in just a few months, and I thought at 68 I was going to fly off into the sunset, but I recognize and know that God isn't finished with me yet, and I have a lot of work to do, and I'm so grateful to be able to stand beside each and every one of you to do this work. After graduating college, as I said, I worked for Delta Airlines, and I interacted with people from all walks of life, from every corner of the globe, every color and every creed. And that probably has a lot to do with the way I envision my work and my inclusive and very diverse vision, because I have been able to interact with people from all over the world. What I learned pretty much is that people are more alike than we are different. We all want to spend time with those that we love. We all respond to the same kinds of issues in life, same problems that we have in life, and we want to share our stories with those that we live with and that we work with and that we love. And we just want what's best for our families, and we want what's best for our communities. And I am no different. No matter what I did with my career, my flight schedule, the most important thing for me every single day as a flight attendant was coming home to take care of my son, Jordan. And I felt the same feelings that Americans across the country share with their families every single day. I wanted to start a family and raise a caring, compassionate young child. And like many women, I struggled to get pregnant. I struggled to have a family. And so Jordan for me was my miracle child. And I always dreamed of what Jordan would become. I dreamed of watching him walk across the stage and getting his high school diploma. And I just hoped that he would be full of love and hope himself. But, 7 years ago, Jordan was sitting in the back seat of his friend's car at a gas station in Jacksonville, Florida. And they were playing their music pumped up pretty loud. They were playing rap music, and they just were doing what young teenage boys do, just living their lives and shopping, going from one mall to the next, and just having a good time. And as we know, Michael Dunn pulled up next to the boys and pulled up next to Jordan on the passenger side. And he pulled out a gun and he fired 10 rounds, hitting Jordan 3 times and killing my only son. So, there's not a day that goes by that I don't recognize the injustice of it all. There's not a day that goes by that I don't recognize the injustice of every tragedy, and most specifically the tragedy that you, the students of Parkland, have suffered. Because I wanted to know not only how did this happen to my son, but how did this happen to you? And why were these same kinds of tragedies happening to our children and our young people all over the country? And so for months, I spent a lot of time just praying and trying to figure out what I would do. And in my prayers, I found the strength to actually forgive my son's killer. I know people look at me like I'm crazy when I say that, but I know had I not forgiven him, I wouldn't be able to work with you now. Michael Dunn may have taken my son's life, but he did not take his legacy. And my legacy is not only forever linked to Jordan, but is linked to you as well. So I knew that this could not be the end of my son's story, and I was not going to allow it to be the end of your stories either. So I made a promise to Jordan, and I've made a promise to you that I would act, and that I would take that same sense of protection and love and care that a mother has for her own son, that I have for my son, and I would use it for you, and use it for my community, and use it for the American people. That I would stand up for families like mine, for families like yours, who were terrified that, that one day they'll send their kids to school and their kids will not return home, and definitely terrified that one day they would be me. I've lost my son, but I'm still his mother, and I'll continue to mother him on my mission to help you and to help young people all across the country to be safe, to be able to live in your communities, go to school, go to movie theaters, to live your lives without the fear of being gunned down. And my fight in Washington isn't just a policy agenda, it's something that I have lived and something that you have lived as well. And too often we are told that we have to accept these tragedies and that there's nothing that we can do. And we're told that instead of changing, the laws, that we just have to go ahead and have more active shooter drills in schools, and that we have to buy more guns, and that we just have to accept all these tragedies. And just, instead of changing the culture and making our communities more safe, that this is what's to come, and just to accept it. But I refuse to accept this. I refuse to accept this. I know that you refuse to accept this. And so I'll continue to work with you. I will continue to stand by you. I refuse to accept what the Republican Party wants to do in continuing to stay connected to the NRA gun lobby. I will refuse to accept every time that Mitch McConnell and the Republican Party and the Senate say that they're not going to hear this legislation that we've put forth. I know that millions of people, millions of young people like yourselves refuse to accept that as well. So I know that this fight is, far from over. I know that, but I am filled with hope, and I want you to be filled with hope too, because I know it's people like you, young people like you, because of your actions, you are really making the difference in America. In my first term in Congress, we did pass bipartisan legislation that helps us save lives. We passed federal background checks for all gun sales. This is the same legislation I worked on when I worked for Everytown for Gun Safety and Moms Demand Action for Gun Sense in America. The same legislation I worked on as I, would travel around the country talking to all of our governors, and I was, giving I was testifying before our state legislatures. This is the same legislation that I was working on with the very colleagues that I now work with as a United States representative. I was coming to those very same people to their offices in Washington. We've passed HR 1112, the enhanced backgrounds check, which, closes the Charleston loophole. Same legislation I had been working on before I became a legislator. And I've even introduced a bill myself that would give loved ones and law enforcement more tools to keep guns out of hands of those people that are endangered to themselves. And this legislation I introduced because of you, because of your experiences in Parkland. So we know right now that, more than 100 people in this country continue to die every single day. We know that. And there are hundreds more that are injured that we don't even talk about. And this has got to change. And in just 1 month in the new year, there were more gun deaths in the United States than our peer countries experienced an entire year. And this is unacceptable. And so, I pray that we all remember that this is in our hands. This is in our hands. We are the only ones that can change this culture. Our families, our friends, and our future depend on everything that we do to combat this extremist gun culture every single day. And I believe that the work that we do really, really matters. What you do really, really matters, not only for now, but for your generations to come and for all of eternity. So I'm asking you to continue to fight for gun violence prevention with strength and with hope, because there's always hope. Hope is what sustains us. It's what brings us together. This fight is a long and arduous one, but we have to have hope that things will change. Today and every day, I hope that you all remember that what you do truly, truly matters. The work you do matters not only for yourselves, but for our families and for others. And I thank every single one of you for being here today and continuing to fight like you do. And as a mother, I'm going to say this. Yes, I am. Remember, please keep yourselves healthy and keep yourselves whole. Please make sure that you're following all the recommendations by our healthcare providers to keep yourselves safe from the COVID-19 pandemic. Please stay healthy. Please stay safe. We need you on the front lines. I need you on the front lines. All of our colleagues that are fighting in Washington with you, we need you on the front lines. So thank you so much for continuing to do the work that you do. I stand with you. I will always be here for you. Please rely on me. Please call on me. I am your friend, and I like to call myself your surrogate mother.
Thank you so much, Congresswoman Lucy McBath. Incredibly powerful words to say. I think one of the hardest things in this is simply not to become desensitized to this. And I truly thank you, because I think that's one of the hardest things for myself as an activist, and I think for many other GVP activists, is to keep the hope alive, because this is such it is such hard work. And just thank you so much. You know, what the words that really struck me that you said were that they took his life but not his legacy. And I can see that that legacy lives on in you, and honestly, just all the work that you've done. And I just hope that in some small way we can help you contribute to accomplishing that mission of being such a, to be frank with you, badass in Congress. And we hope to make you proud. So thank you.
Thank you. You do. You make me very, very proud. So keep on, keep going forward. And I'm always here for you.
Perfect. Okay. Thank you so much.
Bye-bye.
Okay, so the next person that we have coming up is a very, very special person. They are very impressive. They've been an incredible ally to us. In this case, on the Senate side, and they've been doing a lot of work. They're from the great state of Massachusetts, where they have one of the lowest gun death rates in the country. And I'm just incredibly proud to introduce Senator Elizabeth Warren to this chat in our virtual room. So take it away. Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate it. Thanks.
Thank you, David. Thanks so much. And, you know, I'm just reminded that we were all going to be together in person, but we're going to do this virtually because this is all that's available to us. You know, I am truly inspired by the leadership you've shown over the last 2 years, David, and thank you for being in this fight. Our nation is in a crisis right now. This coronavirus outbreak is a threat to our families, to our communities, to the entire world. And because this administration was so slow to recognize this threat, the crisis has been made worse. Across this country, Americans are doing their part to try to stem the tide of this outbreak, but the coronavirus threat is growing every single day, and it's going to affect all of us in ways that we haven't even imagined yet. The legacy of discrimination and racial bias across our basic systems has left low-income people, communities of color, indigenous peoples, and other marginalized communities even more vulnerable to this disaster. But as you know better than anyone, we do not give up. We are not without hope. This moment of crisis calls on all of us to deliver real change that keeps our families and our friends and our neighbors healthy and safe, so that we can come out on the other side and help produce an economy and a country that is more just and more productive and more fair. So I'm in this fight all the way, and I am glad to have this opportunity to be on a call with people who know a lot about fighting back. The members of March for Our Lives are no strangers to standing up and fighting for what we believe in. Over the past 2 years, you have been leading the fight to bring an end to another public health crisis, a public health crisis that has gripped this nation for far too long, the epidemic of gun violence. And the truth is, we shouldn't have to be in this fight. We have known about gun violence for years, and we have known about the heinous killings like the tragic massacre at Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School. We have known about it, and they have gone on, and Congress has done nothing. We see the same old responses every time. Democrats call for modest, common sense policies to stop gun violence, policies like better background checks and bans on military assault weapons. The congressman was just talking about the background checks that passed the House. But the Republicans turn to the NRA for their approved talking points. Nothing gets done, and the cycle repeats, and more kids die. But 2 years ago, 15-year-olds and 16-year-olds and 17-year-olds got in the fight with courage. And over the last 2 years, you have marched, you have walked out, you have shown up in Congress, you've shown up at state houses and school board meetings, and you have demanded change. And now we are at a moment where young people like you will demand change, and will get that change. You know, I wanted to be here because this is your anniversary. Over the last 2 years, it has been a real honor to fight alongside you, and I make you this promise. I will keep fighting, because here's the thing. One public health crisis does not stop just because we have seen another health crisis on top of it. You know, lately the news reports are that gun sales have been on the rise. And while many people who are purchasing guns, I'm sure, are responsible gun owners who will handle them responsibly, the data have shown over and over that a gun in the home makes you less safe. In fact, as you know, having a gun makes accidental shootings, domestic violence, and suicides more likely. So this is a time of crisis around the coronavirus. It is still a crisis around gun violence. And we see the two as working off each other. So this is a time when your voices are more important than ever. We cannot lose heart in this fight. We face an uphill battle, but I believe that if we stand together, if we fight together, if we persist together, we will bring an end to both of these public health crises. I urge each of you to stay strong, to stay healthy, and stay committed to this fight. Our friends, our neighbors, our country is counting on your voices and your courage. I will be with you every step of the way, because I believe that together, that's how we're going to make real change in this country. So thanks for having this chance to talk with all of you tonight. Stay in the fight and stay safe. Thank you, David.
Thank you so much, Senator. And I just wanted to say thank you again, too, for understanding that this isn't just, piecemeal legislation that's one law at a time, but as you and your colleagues in the Senate have worked to try to introduce, it's a comprehensive approach that we need to address gun violence in every community, not just the ones that get on TV when there's gun violence, but also see this as an issue of purposeful historic injustice that creates gun violence in the first place. And if any community is affected, from the indigenous communities of North Dakota to suburban communities of Parkland, Florida, to any city in the United States, that no matter who that person is or their zip code, they need to be cared about by our legislation, and they need to have equitable justice distributed. So thank you.
Absolutely right. So thank you for your leadership on this, David. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for being here.
All right, y'all. Thank you for being on. We are not done yet. Again, this is Maxwell Frost, Organizing Director for March for Our Lives. We're really excited that the program is going to continue until 9 p.m. We have a lot of things going on. We'd encourage everyone to stay on. We're going to take about a 5-minute social break here so people can talk and we can listen to some music, and then we're going to move into some more fun stuff. I also just want to shout out all the volunteers that were phone banking. We phone banked for 30 minutes and we made 2,500 calls in those 30 minutes between the people on this call about an hour ago. So thank you all for doing that. Also, next week on Thursday, we're going to be doing this again at 7:30 p.m. I put the link in the chat just now. Please sign up right now. If you're on this call, there's 411 people on this call. Don't let yourself leave this call without signing up for next week. And don't let yourself leave this call without sending it to 5 of your friends. So we're spamming the link right now in the chat. Everyone right now, take a second and go and sign up for our digital hub next week. Again, digital hub next week. Don't let yourself leave without doing that. And thank you all for being on. We're going to take about 5 minutes and then we're going to head over to the next portion of the Our Power Digital Hub. So thank you all so much. David, do you have anything you want to say before we move into our break? Oh, I got you. Hold up.
Wait, David, we can't hear you.
That's a little important. Sorry. Thank you, voice of God, for telling me that you couldn't hear me. Anyhow, what I was saying was thank you so much for being on this phone call, and there's so much more to come. Please, please, please sign up for the next phone call. They're all going to be awesome and really fun, and talk about a lot of organizing and how we elect morally just leaders that actually give a shit about young people, and actually care about gun violence, and not just simply what the polls say, but care about the effect that gun violence has on us as young people and the American people, because 2020 will be the year, 2022 will be the year, and every year after that will be the year that the young people will win. We will stand up and we will scare the shit out of the people in power. And if they don't choose to walk through the door that says that you can love us as young people, that you can love future generations and stand for the American people, we will gladly close that door and have somebody else walk through it by voting somebody else new into office. Probably in the future, more young people from March for Our Lives eventually running for Congress and things like that. So we need to build up this power. We need to keep organizing, and we need to stand up and create equitable justice in the United States. Thank you all. Please, again, sign up for the phone call. Thanks.
All right, y'all. We're going to go ahead and move into a quick break, and then we'll be right back with the March for Our Lives, Our Power Digital Hub. Thank you all so much.
Hold on.
Hello?
Logan.
Yay.
This is
There's
so
so many of
cool.
us.
Hi.
Hi. You're so loud.
Hi.
We're the real ones.
For Emperor.
It's so cool.
Showing up for Emperor.
Oh
Yeah.
my god.
There's so many still in awe.
Who's gonna make me cry?
Who's been here since the beginning?
In the Discord chat.
Yes, sir.
I have Logan.
On the Zoom call thing.
I've been here the
Sir,
whole
what's
time.
up?
Everyone's
For
telling
Jonah
me
for
no, I got
Emperor.
Hey, y'all, we're going to go ahead and move everybody into a bunch of breakout rooms so people can get to know each other, but when there's not 300 people on the phone. So we're gonna
Thank you, Max.
Hello?